Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to get started here in just a moment. This has been quite an adventure trying to figure out how to um, go live without all of the bells and whistles that usually you use when you are streaming on multiple platforms and trying to figure out between two different platforms and not having them connected it's been an adventure. So thank you so much for joining me here. I really appreciate it. Thank you for spending your time with me among all of the other things you could be doing. I recognize and really appreciate that you're taking time out to watch these live sessions and participate in them with me. So it's always a pleasure to have you. Today, we are going to be talking about being intentional. And I have three things that I want to focus on with you today. Before we get into that, I am Georgia Davis, your host, coming to you live from northern Utah. And we have had all four seasons over the last week or so. And I am grateful to be able to live in such a beautiful place where you just never know what the weather's going to be like when you walk outside. Okay, so being intentional. I want to focus on three specific things today. One, your mindset. Two, your goals. And three, your relationships. So before we get into this, let's just be real about something. Most people are not stuck. And that might be very controversial, but most people are not stuck. They're just unfocused. And I think being unfocused is one of the biggest difficulties and hardships in our time because it distracts us from so many things that are so important to us. Busy does not mean that you're being productive. It usually means that you're avoiding something and that there's a deeper something in there that you don't want to face. Today is all about calling that out. So buckle up because it is going to be a powerful one today. And thank you again for joining me. Be willing to look at things just a little bit different today. Be willing to have a different perspective. Be willing to be open-minded about what might come up for you because today might be just a little bit difficult and it's meant and intended to be that way. Because when we're intentional, we have to face a lot of things that we may not like or appreciate about ourselves. Okay, so here's the truth about why you are feeling off. It's not that you're lacking motivation. So anybody out there who feels like they have struggled with motivation, this is not about motivation. You're lacking the direction that you need to go. And often with that comes the next steps that you need to take to be able to get there. If you're reacting all day, then you're actually losing by default. What? How can I be losing by default? Well, if you're not taking intentional actions, you're not moving forward. You're going to lose. No intention means no control and no results. Who out there agrees with me? Who believes that if you don't have intention, you don't have control, you're not going to get the results you want? I want you to post a thumbs up if you agree here or a like. All right, let's get into the first topic, mindset. Mindset is this story that you keep telling yourself, that you keep running and playing over and over and over. Let's think about this for a moment for like a video. Let's pretend that we're watching a movie or your favorite movie and you have it on repeat. It just keeps playing over and over and over because you love it so much. What is that story going to tell you? What is that movie going to tell you? Well, you're not going to make progress, right? You're just going to keep hearing the same story over and over. You're not going to get any new information. And new information is what helps us continue to grow and progress. Your results are coming from your thinking. So if you're continuously playing this tape over and over and over and over, Your results are going to be based off of that tape that you're playing. And if you're not getting the results you want, you have to change the tape. You have to record something different. We have this need to be liked. And the need to be liked, and I'm telling you this in first person, the need to be liked will kill your growth quietly. You won't even know that it's disappearing. You won't even know that you've stopped growing. You'll just suddenly look back and realize, wait a minute, this is not where I wanted to be. This is not where I was going. You hesitate, you overthink. Raise your hand if you do this. You overthink, you hesitate, and essentially you're just holding yourself back. And nobody wants to admit that they're holding themselves back. I do not ever want to admit that I'm holding myself back. And yet I do it all the time. And the worst part about this is we call it timing. We're holding ourselves back, we're overthinking, and we're hesitating because the timing isn't right. The timing isn't perfect. I need to wait longer. I need more information. But we blame it on timing when it's really not even timing at all. It's just simply the fear of moving forward, the fear of the unknown, the fear of fill in the blank of what this is for you. And in reality, you're protecting your comfort over progress. The fear is uncomfortable. The unknown is uncomfortable. You don't want discomfort. I certainly don't want discomfort. I want to be comfortable all the time. But growth does not dwell in the comfort zone. And the way to fix this is to start choosing your thoughts instead of believing every single one of them. Here's the thing about our thoughts. Our thoughts are amazing and they're powerful, but our thoughts are simply information. They're providing us information so that we can make the very best decision. So how can you move from listening to and believing every single thought you have to choosing the thoughts that you want? Next, our goals. Our goals provide purpose. They provide the keys and the steps to move forward. Stop pretending you don't know what your goals are, because most people don't have unclear goals. They're just avoiding those goals. They're avoiding committing to them. It all comes back to the unknown and the fear. What's the next step? What if I make a mistake? What if I embarrass myself? What if I don't do it right? What if other people say X, Y, Z? Well, so what? What if they do? What if somebody does criticize exactly what you're doing? Does that mean that it's not right for you? Does that mean that you're not on the path that is best for you? Does not mean that you can't influence people in a positive way? No, absolutely not. What it means is that their path isn't aligned with yours. Perfect. Every single one of us have something different to offer and give. And that is what makes each of us so powerful in the way that we are unique and individual and carry our own strengths. Each of us have goals that complement those around us. And when you can recognize that and you can see it and you can feel it from the inside out, no one is going to be able to stop you from moving forward. Once you set your goals in place, run after them. The way will open itself to you. You don't need 10 priorities. You need 1 to 3 that actually matter to you for your entire life. 1 to 3. If everything is important, then nothing is. Nothing has priority if everything is important to you. If you're trying to do 10 to 20 different things every day, unless they're small steps, small things, there's nothing that becomes a priority for you. And then how do you know what step to take? And then guess what? The overthinking steps in. The hesitation comes in. You become more fearful of the next step. You become more unsure about what to do next because everything is a priority, and that simply doesn't work. Ask yourself, what actually moves my life forward this week? What is going to make the greatest impact on me moving forward? Is what I'm doing moving me closer to my goal or farther away? This should be something you're asking yourself every single day. This is something that I think about every day, sometimes only every other day, but it is an active thought in my mind because I have not reached exactly where I want to be yet. So in my mind, I'm thinking, is this moving me closer to my goals or taking me farther away? Is what I'm doing supporting where I want to be in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? Ask yourself this. Is my job helping me progress forward? Maybe it's not your dream job, but maybe the answer to that is yes, because it's providing a stream of income while you figure out what to do next. You don't have to love your job. You have to have set goals that you're working towards, even when and if you don't know what the next steps are. When you determine this, when you determine what's actually moving you forward, cut out everything else. I want to share something with you. Just over a week ago, I went live on YouTube. And I had this little realization that I wanted my Saturdays to be productive and powerful and get some things done while still having some downtime. And since then, since that recognition on YouTube Live, I recognized something. I recognized that every single day since then, I have been productive in a way that helps me be more restful when I'm not working on the weekends. I noticed that every single day I've cleaned up one little area, eliminated a little bit of excess, cleaned a little bit more. And I look back and I feel and see the results because I had the awareness, I set a goal, I wanted to be and want to be more productive, and here I am. I've definitely become more productive simply by the awareness and simply by not necessarily planning out every single step of the way, but recognizing that the awareness and setting the goal and moving forward without having all of the next steps laid out has actually been a huge benefit for me. Number 3, and this one, I'll warn you, this one can be a little bit challenging. It can also create and stir some emotion from within you. So as we move into this next one, take a deep breath and let it out slowly. This next one is relationships. Who's influencing you? And if you think that the people around you do not influence you, you are wrong. Because everybody that you associate with influences you for better or for worse. And their influence can be anywhere between superficial to the depths of your heart and soul. This means that they can influence anything from external behaviors to what you think, how you feel about yourself. one of the previous episodes, we talked about awareness of what you're doing and how it makes you feel, from what you eat to the relationships that you're in to the behaviors that you do. And we talked about recognizing how you feel after you've had something to eat, specifically what you've eaten. We talked about how interacting with somebody makes you feel, how your job makes you feel, how certain emotions from yourself make you feel after the fact. You're being shaped by the people that you choose to spend your time with, whether you admit it or not. And some people are going to completely drain you. And they call this love. You might call this love. I have called this love. So, who are the people that you're spending the most time with? It could be work, it could be family, it could be a spouse or a partner, it could be children, it could be a neighbor. Who are you spending your time with? Some environments will keep you small, and it's called a normal. My last 9 to 5 job, I had to fight really, really hard to not be kept in a box, to not be kept small, to not be intimidated, to not fall into what everybody else was doing, to not be so hardened that I didn't see people as people. You need to get really intentional about who gets your time and your energy and access to you. And here's one of the hardest parts about this. You have to set boundaries. Setting boundaries are not mean. Setting boundaries are necessary. Over the last 7 to 8 months, I've firmed up these boundaries even more. And it's created some hardship in my life. It's created tension and uncomfortable and fear of the unknown and what the next steps were and how I was going to move forward and what I was going to do with that information and how I was going to maintain these boundaries. Boundaries are not a wall. They're like the clothing that we wear to protect our bodies. They're like putting on a jacket or a coat when it's raining or it's snowing outside. Boundaries are a protection for you. They don't necessarily keep things out. They just provide a barrier. Our clothing keeps nothing out. If my clothing gets wet, my skin gets wet. But it provides a barrier that's acceptable. A boundary is like using an umbrella when it's raining or snowing. It provides protection. It doesn't stop you from getting wet completely. It doesn't stop you from experiencing the chill and magical feeling of snow falling. It just provides a barrier. Your boundaries should provide a healthy barrier for you. When you think about property boundary lines, there's not always a fence. It doesn't mean that there isn't a barrier. It doesn't mean there isn't a boundary. A fence is a physical representation of a boundary. A fence can be 3 lines of barbed wire stretched from one post to the other. It is not a wall. When you think about your boundaries and you think about what's healthy for you, Remember that we all need this barrier, this protective layer around us. Without walling up and putting 100 layers around our heart, boundaries are not about not having heart. They're not about refusing to give service. Boundaries are not about withholding love. They're not about withholding gratitude. They're not about, not feeling. Boundaries are simply, this is a line I will not allow anybody to cross. Boundaries are, this is my protective, safe space and place for me. Wrapping all of this up today, you don't need a full life overhaul. That's not what we're talking about. You need to make a decision. And you need to make a decision in each of these different areas: your mindset, your goals, and your relationships. Most people don't feel ready when they need to move forward. That's why they stay stuck, because they don't feel ready. Progress is not made in the ready zone, in the comfort zone, in feeling like you have everything figured out. Progress is made through the mistakes, the consistency, and moving one foot in front of the other. Pick one of these three areas and get aggressive about it. Yep, I said it. Get aggressive about it. Your mindset, your goals, your relationships. Aggressive in the respect that it's time to take action. It's time for me to move forward. Not external aggression. That's not what I'm talking about. Aggression in the respect of, I will not allow my mindset to dip below this level. I will not allow myself to not make progress on my goals. I will not allow myself to not have boundaries anymore. It's time for boundaries. It's time to improve my relationships. When you set boundaries in any of these areas, you're going to excel. You can't help it. The boundaries will free you and liberate you. Here's what I want you to do. Drop in the comments, mindset, goal, or relationships, whichever one you're going to work on this week. And if you know someone that's spinning their own wheels, please share this with them. Let them receive this information as well. Don't withhold it from them. And if this hits, stick around, because we're not here to stay comfortable. And if you are finding that you need some help and support with this, please feel free to reach out. I'm here to help you. My Clarity in You session is all about that. We're going to sit down. We're going to find out what's holding you back, what's working, what's not working. We're going to establish a 90-day plan for you to move forward. We're going to identify some goals for you to work on, and we're going to make you become really powerful. And if you feel like that's something that's going to help you, go ahead and drop clarity in the comments below. If you feel like you need some additional support and maybe you've got a plan, but you need some accountability, you need some additional one-on-one coaching, you need to dig a little bit deeper into your goals, into your plan, into what you need to do moving forward, then go ahead and drop coaching in the comments below, and I'll reach out and let's have a conversation. Let's connect. All right, May 5th is our next live right here, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, May 5th, titled, Where Do I Start? And just a little bit of an insight. We're going to find out what the real problem is. You don't just need to take the first step. You got to create a simple plan and get comfortable with discomfort. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's wrap it up with 3 deep breaths at your own pace. 4, 5, 6 seconds in, 4 to 6 second hold, 4 to 6 second breath out. Let's go ahead and begin and focus on healthy boundaries. Ready? Let's go. One more. Thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to check out my YouTube page, Focus Driven Life, and the Warrior Meditation there. I'll see you next week. Have an amazing one until then.